Hi, I'm Martin Jonas, and once again, I want to welcome you to Listen. You notice my hair? Mohawk. I've never done this before. My little daughter, she's been kind of in my case wanting me to do a Mohawk, grow a Mohawk, grow a Mohawk. I mean, just for a day or so, I figure I'd please her, surprise her actually. So I've never had my hair like this in my life. And so I figured, I got to go to work tomorrow, and I can do this for her all day. It's Sunday. And I was gonna do a presentation today on how a lot of the things that we think are so serious or so important really aren't that important at all. Sometimes if we can just be like children, just be more carefree. I think sometimes as adults we can get into sort of a habit of just being negative and being critical and being too serious about things that really have no eternal value. And for our kids especially sometimes, no. And a few times we say yes about something ridiculous, that we should have said no. But so first, of course, I wasn't going to do that, grow a Mohawk. And then I suggested maybe a couple of weeks, yeah, I might. And she goes, then can you dye it red? I'm like, okay, that's enough. And so the other day, as I was working, I was picking her up from school, and I showed up and I told her that morning I might do the Mohawk, and I showed up for school, and one of the teachers said, Kara said that you're going to have your hair in a Mohawk, and then I felt really bad. But she was a sport, I told her I'd do it one day, so I did it this morning. She hasn't seen it yet. For the children sometimes. And then I was thinking back on, when I was younger, I would do some crazy things. I remember I was in the marching band in high school my senior year. I played saxophone, senior, right? Season was just about over. I got some silver engine paint, and I spray painted my saxophone silver. And so we were marching on, like flipping it, and all that stuff. But the saxophone wasn't even really working anymore because the pads got wet and got hard. And my parents were so upset. $300 for the sax back then. They paid for it. But I did some crazy things when I was young. But it's like we get older and we just stop doing ridiculous things. And so I decided to go ahead and do it for my little girl. But this is what's interesting about this Mohawk. Sometimes our kids are like more spiritually in tune than we are, even though they don't. To me, true spirituality is this isn't religious, but spirituality is being moved to do the right thing without even realizing it. To me, you have people saying, God told me this. Come on, half the time it's really self-serving and sometimes almost ridiculous. But when somebody like a child just makes the right moves or has right thoughts or right feelings without having God told or without having all this religious stuff that we attach to everything. It's amazing. Now look, so before this program I got on the internet and I looked up Mohawk, just to see what it symbolized. And to my interest, and I did not know this, the Mohawk haircut was the haircut the Mohawk Indians would cut just while they were getting ready to enter into battle, when they were entering into warfare. They cut their hair like this. That's what this Mohawk hair symbolized, warfare. And man, it was like, so I cut my hair like this. Then I set up the camera equipment, and I go get on the internet just to pull up a little one-liner on what it symbolized, fertility or something, who knew, And then I saw it meant warfare, man. It was almost like a power, a strength went through me, a recognition, a realization, like a light bulb went off, the reality of this, and almost the spiritual insight of this child that didn't even realize it, almost begging me for the past couple of weeks to cut my hair this way. Warfare. We're in warfare right now. We have to be in warfare right now. We have to come out of the lull of apathy and being satisfied just in whatever state or condition we're in. Whether we're in a good state of financial wellness, and so we're fine and we're satisfied just doing the things that we're doing, or maybe we're in a middle type situation of just barely making our ends meet but still surviving with our noses just a little bit above water, or whether we're in a situation where we're totally submerged and we've been there so long that this is just, we acquiesce to, this is just the way life is. is. We have to recognize that we can no longer sit back and say, this is how life is. We're entering into warfare. We're entering into warfare. I'll give you another little analogy. We'll settle down. Another analogy. Just last night, I went to the store and I purchased a coffee bean grinding machine. And because I love coffee. I drink coffee a lot. I used to drink it all day, every day, but I know it's not good for you, so I really chilled out a little bit, but I at least have a cup a day. I love coffee. And to me, the way I judge a restaurant often is what kind of coffee they serve. How good is it? And what's always amazing to me is some of the nicest restaurants, their coffee is terrible. And I think maybe it's because they don't want you to stay there too long because they're trying to turn over. A lot of people, they're trying to get in, get out, get in, get out. So they don't want people like me sitting there for 2 hours, just drinking coffee after a meal, And so then I drink coffee at work every morning. And then sometimes, when I'm going, wherever I need to go, I like to go to Tim Hortons or maybe McDonald's and get coffee But lately, I'd say lately over the past maybe 5 or 6 months, I've really grown tired of the coffee. Not tired of coffee, but just not really being satisfied, And I was talking to a guy at work and he was telling me about fresh coffee beans and how if you grind them fresh, it's a lot different than when you buy the ground coffee and just make it at home. So I've been going to Myers, every time I go there and go in the coffee grinding machine area where they sell them, and I'm like looking at one. It's like pretty cheap, the cheapest one actually. And I've been looking at it for about a month, and then finally last night, man, I'm just really grown really tired, uncomfortable with the coffee I've been drinking. And so I bought that machine last night. And I went all out. Then I bought a couple different bags, Dunkin' Donut brand, which I don't even know what it tastes like, but everybody's always talking about Dunkin' Donut coffee, so I bought some of their beans. And another company called 8 O'Clock or something, I bought their beans as well. And I bought the little containers, and I put labels on the containers. I got really into it early this morning. And then I ground up those beans, and I'd never done this before. And I made that cup of coffee. And I drank that coffee, and at first it was like, as I was finishing that cup and starting the second cup, man, this is pretty good. It was like, I never had fresh coffee like that before. It was like almost overwhelming that I've been drinking coffee for 20 years, and I'd never had coffee that fresh, that good before. It's amazing how we can get satisfied with things that are substandard and think, oh, well, this is just the way life is. But sometimes we have to get tired. So it wasn't really upset or angry or anything. I was just not comfortable with the coffee that I had been drinking. It just wasn't doing it. It wasn't satisfying, and I didn't know why. I thought maybe it was just a bad brand, or maybe the water was bad, or maybe, I'm just losing the taste for, I don't know what it was, but I was just getting really uncomfortable, recognizing that this just wasn't doing it. And for the past month, every time I go to Myers, I just look at these coffee makers, I look at the beans, because I'm very unfamiliar with all this. And finally, last night I was in there, man, and I didn't even go there to do this, but I decided I got to buy that today. And man, I told my wife kind of jokingly, I almost wept, when I was drinking this coffee, man. It was just amazing to me what coffee could be like, and I had no idea. And so all this together, I'm just saying, man, we need to recognize if we're getting uncomfortable, if we're not being satisfied, it's not that we need to find something else to do, like maybe get a better buzz, or maybe do something, or maybe go join a spa, or maybe do something crazy, or change my whole life and all this stuff. Just begin to look at the situation of things, and then begin to evaluate the thing. So then look at your life, yes, but make the right choice. Begin to realize what is it that might not be correct. And what I'm suggesting today is when you come to a place of apathy, or you come to a place of you're not even feeling excited about the things that you're doing anymore. Maybe it's that inner moving, something within you, that spiritual push, trying to suggest to take a second look at something that you may have acquiesced to and ask yourself, maybe if I can be better in this particular area. And address that. I think the one thing we need to really consider, like, are some of the, especially to me, a tremendous negative as far as attaining anything, as far as attaining any goal, is that buzz that we're getting. Whether it's the alcohol or whether it's the drugs. Sometimes it gets us complacent and makes us decide, oh well, this is good enough the way that it is. How many times do we wake up after having had drunk all night or gotten high all night or whatever, and then in the morning recognize the reality of things? We thought things were so glee and so wonderful the night before, recognizing in the morning, oh yeah, no, it's not. This is the reality. So what is that? You look at, to date this program, Whitney Houston passed away last night. So this is Sunday, the day after. And I noticed somebody on Facebook posted, this is just goes to show you that money can't buy happiness. And so, of course, nothing can buy happiness. So that was really, but to me, more to the point about money is that oftentimes money, it gives us an opportunity to mask ills. Okay. And to me, the ill, as far as Whitney Houston is concerned, was the drug use. And drugs damage physically and emotionally. And when you as an individual are being damaged physically and emotionally, there's your surroundings, the family unit, the people that you're in a relationship with are also being damaged physically and emotionally because of your ill, okay? You may not realize it because you're buzzed, okay? And so what I'm suggesting is this is what drugs do. Even prescription drugs, you see the advertisements, may cause this, may cause that. Sometimes the may causes seem a little bit worse than why you're taking it in the first place. But drugs always have a side effect, okay? And the problem, even the deeper problem, is when you're taking drugs or alcohol. Drugs is simply for the fun of it. In most cases, has a tremendously debilitating and an effect, a forsaking potential effect in the individual's life. And this is what I think we have to wake up from. We have to wake up from all the things that lull us into apathy, all the things that lull us into acquiescing that this is just the way life is and this is the way it's always going to be. Because if that's the case, what hope is there for the future of our children? Because we're the ones that raise the bar. We're the ones that get them to understand that it's not enough to simply be, if better is possible. And so bettering isn't necessarily just stepping aside and grasping something else so the reality of things doesn't bother you. That's what I'm talking about. Getting a stronger buzz or a different kind of buzz so you don't have to think about it so long. I think sometimes about the years that I spent drinking so much alcohol, I would start in the mornings and all through the day and into the evenings. And feeling good. And then go to sleep and wake up and start all over again. Not realizing it was simply keeping me from addressing the real situation of my life. That's what I'm simply suggesting here, is that we have to begin to look at our situations. We have to realize, this Mohawk was like the reality of warfare. We have to declare war on apathy. We have to declare war on ignorance. We have to declare, of course, war on poverty, war on drugs and all these things, but all that has to do with ignorance and apathy. To recognize that we've fallen so far behind. And look at our school systems today. Really jacked up. I was talking to a buddy of mine that was a little bit familiar. One of the schools, one of these little charter schools, was working out of St. Francis or Franciscan Hospital, and they were having fights outside. These young kids. They closed that school down. I mean, the young people, I see them every day coming up out of the high school, the local high school, Dunbar High School, getting high. Having fun, what they think is fun. Having sex, and the girls, you should know this, in the library over in Madden Hills, in the bathroom, in the male's bathroom, there's this boy bragging about what he did to some girl and puts her whole name on there, first and last name. You young girls, you need to recognize that. These boys that are telling you they love you, They're advertising your business out in the street. And a lot of your names are written on bathroom walls the day after, believe me. We have to wise up, and parents have to wise up. We have to begin to teach our kids. We have to begin to show our kids the way. And sometimes, we talk about the broken families, we talk about the fatherless families, and I understand the plight of the mothers, and I understand the need for people to have companionship and relationship. But what I'm suggesting today is look how many of those relationships never pan out, and how many different last names are in each household. There is something to that. You have to begin to look at that situation. You have to be looking at how we have children, young women, and we're not married. And I'm not ragging on it in the traditional way. I'm saying is what is going on here, and why is that, and why do we think things that are okay that are not okay? We have deeper issues in that, and sometimes we're not psychologists, and we can't address those issues sometimes. But what we can do sometimes is look at the result of a thing and recognize that this result is not correct, and then follow the result back to the source. There's an old Buddhist saying that if you want to find the mother of a thing, you find its children and follow the children back to the mother. If you want to find the ill of an individual's life, or the illness of your own life, you look at the manifestations, and you can follow those manifestations, and they'll lead you back to the illness. So look at the results in your life and recognizing that this is not okay. And a lot of times, even as mothers, and I feel for the situations, because they started off as young girls, not really recognizing what reality is, what truth is. Maybe no one was there to teach them, and can't fault them because maybe they didn't know. Who knows? What is truth anyway? My suggestion is a lot of the negativities that we bring upon ourselves is the quest, our quest, searching for that thing that will bring us happiness, that thing that will bring us satisfaction. And what I'm suggesting today is if you're out there and you've been searching for satisfaction, you've been on a quest at this relationship for a while and thinking that's it, and then finally that fizzles, and then another relationship, this one will be it, and that fizzles, and this one, and that one. The reality is there is nothing out there. You're chasing something that doesn't exist. The peace that you're looking for is within. Is within you. You might say, oh, well, that's ridiculous. That's kind of out there. It's true. Why do you think you haven't found it? Why do you think the only way we find peace is through the bus, through the alcohol, through the drugs, through illicit affairs and relationships, through all kinds of things? Because we're chasing something that isn't there. And oftentimes, in the chase, as we're chasing something that isn't there, we're fleeing the thing that is there, and so we're losing from both sides. When I see the kids that are playing hooky from school, running and hiding, and from the man, from the truant officer, but they think they're getting over, they're finding a temporary thrill and a joy. They're really running away from their own education. So they're running away from their own potential, searching for something else that isn't really there. This is what we do. And we have to stop. We have to declare war on ignorance. And this is the sort of, we don't have enough time in this program. But what I would suggest, and what I try to suggest in every program, is meditation, is quiet time. It's to find a way to get away and shut off everything and just be quiet with yourself. And just think. Without the buzz, without the hangover, without any distractions. Just quiet. And the answers to me, the answers of everything, the answers of everything that pertain to you are within you. We never sit down and have enough still time, quiet time to listen. Or we're buzzed, or we're high, or we're doing something. We always got the radio on. We always got the TV on. We always got some noise or something going on, and then we go to sleep and wake up and start all over again. We need quiet time, meditation time, time for yourself. And if you just sit there long enough, The answers will come to you, certain things. And you'll realize, man, I've wasted this time, I've wasted that time. Sometimes what I would do, have a pencil and a piece of paper just handy. So if something crosses your mind, you don't have to get up or you don't have to worry about forgetting it. Just write it down. Continue sitting there. Just consider that. It's time to declare war. Now, you don't have to go out and get a Mohawk. Remember about a year and a half ago, I was trying to get everybody to grow an afro. Okay, you don't have to do this. Next time you see me, it'll probably be gone. But declare war on all those things that have been keeping you down. It's not about other folks. It's not about anybody else, you know. And you know, I used to be the angry young black man, you know, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager and all. But the reality, at this particular time and right now, the enemy is us. Your own worst enemy is you. And if you can identify the enemy, see the problem we've had in so many wars. I was talking to one guy, I'm a veteran, so many veterans, and this guy was like, man, you know, our GIs, they really kick butt. You know, he was going there. I said, you know, if you go back historically in our nation, when was the last war that we actually won? You know? The reality is, man, like when we were well, Middle East thing, you know, we're trying to get out of there, you know, just trying to get out of there with what we got, okay? Then we might look at Vietnam, we might look at Korea. You know, these things were settled, but not by us winning. Because we realized that it was impossible for us to really tell when you're fighting folks who the real enemy is, okay? When in the daytime, in the Civil War, this person is your friend, but at nighttime they go put on some other clothes and they're your enemy. You got to know who the enemy is, okay? And I'm giving you a hint right now for your life. The enemy is you. And the only way to fight that enemy is in quiet time and meditation. So you begin to hear the real you, what's really going on within you. And the answers to your problems are within you. You'll know, you'll understand.